questions about photography and things, and I'm horrible at doing intros. Anyway, thanks for sending in your questions, and I'm going to answer them. So from Something Must Break Now, this is the first question. Is shooting on film a relic of the past, or now that digital photography has advanced and surpassed the capacity of the human eye? I think shooting on film is another tool, just like digital photography is now the normal. I think it makes film even cooler and different.
Harder.
Yeah, it's just, I feel like it's a different tool. That's all. It's just a different tool. It's a different look. It's softer. It's like I feel like it creates a dream a little bit more than, or I'd say a lot more than a very sharp digital photograph. It just looks cool. I don't know. Why do we look at images anyway, or films? To entertain, or to be, it's like a story. It's like you're reading a story. So I feel like whatever medium that you choose to tell the story will just help the story. So yeah, I still do both. I like film and digital. I like them both for different reasons. The reasons, digital is so quick. It's also very inexpensive. And fast in turning the image around and seeing what you have. Oh my god, I've been on photo shoots where I was shooting film and had overexposed my flash, and I really wish that I would have known it was overexposed, whereas if I had digital then I would have known. But I don't know, it's give or take. It's really kind of awesome. Film is really cool to use because you have to be on point and you have to really get everything organized before you shoot. You have to really like over check your film speed, your aperture, your light, your shutter speed. You have to really just like check, double check, and then you're really set. And so you can't really be lazy if you're shooting manual with film, especially not like medium format or large format. You have to really, there's a whole process to it. So it's just different. I like both. This question is from Roba. Do you know what happened to Sean Young and why he's not skating anymore? I don't know that he's not skating, but if he's not skating, I guess that's just a choice that he made. Maybe he's not into it anymore. But I do know what happened to him because I spoke with him recently, and he is a tile mason. So he works installing tiles in buildings, and so he has a good job. He's happy. I think he might be back in Georgia. He's from Georgia.
Yeah.
I think so, or Alabama. No, wait a second. I think he's in Georgia.
Atlanta.
I think he's in Atlanta. But he's so cool. Sean Young's the best. So since we're speaking of Sean Young, Monkey just asked if I shot the Sean Young Bombing the Hill in the Rain. I didn't shoot that. I wish I would have. That was the best clip or line. But I think the guy, and I forgot his name, but I think the guy who shot the first Spitfire video shot that. Although I'm not sure.
Was he really on acid? Do you know that part?
I don't know if he was on acid. I think Sean Young, for when I was in San Francisco skating, I feel like he would bomb hills a little crazier than everyone else at the time. Like, yeah, I feel like Sean Young would take chances bombing hills and going through intersections and doing shit like...
No spotter, nothing.
Yeah, not so much. Okay, this question is from Friendly Dave. He says, frontside or backside? I would say backside slappy. That's what I like. What was your first camera? My first camera was a Minolta X700. It was a fucking great camera. And I got a fisheye lens for it, and I shot tons of photos with it. It was great. Also, Friendly Dave, what invert is the best invert? I think Andrix are the best invert. Where is the weirdest place you've ever slept? I rented a closet for $80 a month with I stayed with Joey Trichet and Julian Stranger in an apartment, and that was the weirdest place, the weirdest room I ever had.
In SF?
Yeah, in SF, San Francisco. Tell us about the time you went the fastest on your board. One one day we were out skating, and I had my camera backpack, and we were out skating. I was skating with Julian, Coco, Joey Trichet, and we were bombing. We were going down backside ninth, and usually everyone beat me, but this one day, I was determined to go the fastest that I could, and I beat everyone. And I might have gotten a head start, whatever it was, but I felt really good about that, and I made it to the bottom first. So you also asked, what is your favorite skate memory? That was my favorite skate memory. Okay, from Adam Abbas, can you recommend some good photo books? I have a few by Nan Golden, Martin Parr, Mary Ellen Mark, but I'm looking for more. So I got some photo books. I really like this Lee Friedlander self-portraits. It's just really awesome and weird. And I'm going to show you my favorite photo in here. Alright, Lee Friedlander self-portraits. Alright, so you set your camera up on a self-timer, and you think it's a good idea to look into the light bulb. Look into a bare light bulb. It's just so fucking weird and awesome. I love this photo. It's so cool. This guy is really amazing. And he's still around today. He prints all his own photos, and he's great. Self-portrait. Also, this is one of my favorite photo books. This is Chrissy Piper. It's called The Unheard Music. Photographs 1991, 1997. It's all really, really great music photos. Really great photography. It's all black and white. All these bands were just coming up, and she got some really great shots. Also like Ed Ruscha photographs. And this isn't like a hard to get book. You can get this. The Unheard Music is really hard to find. You won't get it because there's not that many copies. But this one is really, Ed Ruscha, it's really cool. I love is like you won't, some of the photographs in here you won't find, or like the books, like 29 Palms. I love this. He made a book called Every Building on the Sunset Strip. So he just photographed every building. And I'm not sure how the original book looked, but I don't think he made that many of them. And at the time, I'm sure people looked at this book as just weird and boring. But it's so different and unique that nowadays you look at it and I'm sure it's worth like a lot more, like a ton of money. I don't know. Well, it's just, who cares about the money? But it's just like, yeah, he's so ahead of the game, right? Just different. He put something out there that's different. I really like Martha Cooper. This book is called Street Play, and it's all kids playing in the street. Look at this, like these kids in the Bronx, like lighting shit, like lighting some like fucking mortar. They're putting lighter fluid inside of a tube of cans. Dude, kids are just wilding out. Like this kid has a pigeon coop, so you like have pigeons on your roof and like you fly them around, then they come back, and I don't know what. Yeah, this is all New York. It's cool. This kid looking through some shit. What's a good photo in here? I think some of the best photos are these kids doing like acrobatics in a vacant lot on some like dirty mattresses. Well, this is one. This is one mid flip with a car in the background. Is this it?
I think so.
Like this. How fucking awesome is that? They're just like climbing up some like fence that's like 16 feet high in like an abandoned building. It's probably South Bronx. So cool. Oh, this is it. Like jumping off a fire escape into some mattresses. That's so cool. Yeah. So those are some of my favorite photo books. Adam Abbas. You photographed New York City street legends for a while. Do you have any good stories from those encounters? The photo of Justin Pierce lighting Stephen Callis' cigarette is one of my favorites. I don't know, I have good memories of skating around with Harold Hunter, Justin Pierce, and Stephen Callis, skating all around New York. New York is such a cool place to skate. And it's intense coming from the West Coast, just getting into New York City. It's really fun. It was really fun to skate. I don't have any specific stories, but actually maybe I have one story. When I first went to New York, it was 1989, and I had I went there 'cause I graduated high school. My mom gave me a ticket to New York as a present. So I went there and stayed in Pennsylvania with Barker Barrett, and he rode for Shutt, and we hooked up with Rodney from Shutt and went to the city and stayed with his partner Bruno, and then we skated all around the city. And I remember it was Valentine's Day. I think it was in February, I believe, or it was a holiday, some holiday, and we went to skate a pool in Harlem because it was a holiday, and so maybe the guards weren't there, or security guards. We skated the pool for a minute and then got kicked out. Then we went to Harlem Banks and we're skating, and a board shot out, hit someone that was standing on the street right next to Harlem Banks, and then he pulled a knife out. And so we got on our boards and we just started taking off down. I don't even know what street we're skating down, but I remember being the friends that I was with were skating so fast, and I got caught in a light, and this woman looked at me. She walked by me and really, really casually said, "You better not lose your friends." And I was like looking around, and I just started skating. So it was fun skating. We skated miles and miles all over the city. Also from Adam Abbas, having filmed Ethan Fowler during a visual sound, what were your thoughts of his move to Foundation and his change in clothes and appearance? Well, I think people go through changes and they change their clothing and appearance just for fun, and people do it all the time. Everyone changes all the time, so that's good. You've hung out with and photographed some of the wildest people in skateboarding. Did they ever pressure you to prove yourself to them to show you could hang? I think friends are always pressuring each other to do stuff. I think when we were all like really young, we were always drinking beers. Like, I drink 2 beers. I drink 3 beers. I drink whatever more than you. So yeah, I was pressured a lot. Okay, how about this? Snowman 600. The first time I watched Beautiful Losers, I loved it. It changed my life in a way. Tried watching it this year and actually hated it. Is that a common reaction from people? Probably. I mean, things change. People, especially like movies, you like it one minute and then don't like it the next. I don't know. I liked it the best when it came out too. No. And I think as time moves on, I still like to look back on older movies. But yeah, I like looking forward to the new thing or something new to come out. Okay, so from Adam Abbas, why does Julian love making fun of Jerry Garcia, and has Grasso ever called him out on it? I don't know if Grasso has ever called out Julian for making fun of Jerry Garcia. I think because Jerry Garcia is the opposite of so much music that Julian grew up around, or punk rock. Punk rock is so much different than the Grateful Dead. It's very opposite. I don't know. And also, I think growing up in San Francisco, there's a lot of hippies, and it's I don't know. It's just the opposite kind of lifestyle. Being a hippie and following the Grateful Dead. And I don't know about Grasso. I guess he likes the Grateful Dead too. I never got into the Grateful Dead, probably because all my older kids that I grew up around hated the Grateful Dead. I don't know. It's just something. It's a San Francisco thing. Maybe it's a San Francisco skateboarding thing. I don't know. I do like a couple other songs. So. Is Jason Lee hard to work with? No. Jason Lee is really easy to work with. Next one, Brett Pancake. What was it like working on Year 13 with Greco? Do you think making something more artsy is a nice change from the normal? Yeah, I think it was fun working with Greco on Year 13 because he was so dedicated to making what he wanted to make, and I don't know, I really admire him for putting in so 100% effort in shooting and editing and this film.
He edited it.
He edited it, yeah. I think maybe Joey Cinco helped him a lot, helped him some on Year 13. I think he edited most of it all. I think Jobs Never, he might have had a little bit more editing help from Joey Cinco. This is a big job editing a film. I don't know, but I feel like Year 13 he did it all. Greco and Joey Cinco, they are really close and they work together a lot. And yes, it was a nice change from doing like traditional. From Chuck Ramone, thoughts on Transworld going under? Yeah, it's an end of an era that Transworld went under. That magazine's been around forever, like 30. How many years? I don't know. It's been around for a long time, and I don't know. I know I was inspired just reading Transworld and looking at all the cool photos. So yeah, it's an end of an era. But
83.
83. Wow, that's a long time. Yeah. Well, they did a good job. They did a good job for keeping it alive for so long. Is print the best medium for skate photography? I like looking at prints. I like having a print in my hand. That's really cool. Or having a magazine in my hand. I think that's, for me, I like looking through the magazine. So for me, it's the best. My Thrasher's my favorite magazine. And I like looking through it. My favorite era. I don't have a favorite era. I don't feel like I'm stuck or I don't feel like I'm centered on one era for skateboarding. I think now is my favorite era. There's so much so much great skateboarding going on right now. Do you like using black rims, or is it just a pain in the ass? I do like using dark rims, but it is a pain in the ass. If I had my own dark rim, I think it would be easier. So someday I'm gonna have my own dark rim. It does take a lot of effort for a few prints, like all day for a few prints. Like, it's a lot of effort. Should a skate filmer be able to follow film on a skateboard? I feel like, yeah, a skate filmer should be able to follow film on a skateboard. Rusty Knees, ever going to do a solo book or just your photos? I am going to do solo book of just my photos, and I'm working on it right now. At some point it'll be done. Cliff, have you ever pulled a Cossack and forgot to put a roll of film in while shooting? I probably have done that. I can't remember a specific time. I think more so, I screwed up a lot taking sequences and guessing that if I had 10 frames left that it would be enough for the sequence, and then finding out that it just was 7 frames or something like that, and I just didn't make it quite. And you don't know when you're shooting film until you get into the darkroom. What is the most rolls of film you went through to get a sequence? The most rolls of film I went through to get a sequence was 14 rolls of film to get a sequence of Jason Lee for a blind ad, where it was backside 180, nose manual. There's two circles, manual pad circles, backside 180, nose manual. And I'm so glad he made it, because if he didn't make it, then that would have been 14 wasted rolls. But he made it. Have you ever had to piece a sequence together? I can't think of a specific instance, but I'm sure I've had to piece a sequence together at some point. Oh, this guy, Francis Xavier? Yeah. He just won. Francis Xavier, any good Corey Chrysler stories? My favorite Corey Chrysler story is getting a phone call from Larry Clark and Ed Lockman. Were doing research for a movie, their first movie, and I got asked to go pick up Corey Chrysler and go drive to Los Angeles, just hang out with Ed Lockman, who's an amazing cinematographer, and Larry Clark for their first movie. And we went down there and we hung out, and we drove up to through the Central Valley to Fresno and Visalia, and we shot video around there, and I went to Santa Monica, went to the triple set in Santa Monica, and Corey ollied it, and it was kind of a big deal. It was pretty big thing to skate, and Ed Lockman wasn't like a skate filmer, but he filmed it, and it was a really fun trip just because we were on I just picked him up, and it was a fun different thing. Like, oh, they're gonna pay for our gas and food. Let's go check it out. Maybe you'll be in this movie. Later on, Larry wanted Corey to be in the movie, but Corey was really religious at the time, and the movie is really gnarly. It was called Kemp Park, and it's like banned in Australia or something, and you can't. It's not even out. I got a copy of it. You can get a copy on Amazon from Russia. In Kemp Park, there's a kid that kills his grandparents. All right, there's an opening scene to Kemp Park that Alan Peterson told the story to Larry about, and it's a real story about one of Alan's classmates in high school bringing a gun to school and then killing himself at school. And Larry and Ed Lockman took that story and made it the opening scene for Kent Park. It's just chock full of gnarly shit. It's like, hey, let's put all this really gnarly shit in this film. But it was fun. I had a lot of good times hanging out with Corey. Does Greco still go no egg roll? I don't know if Greco goes no egg roll. I know he likes Vietnamese food. Next question, would you load up on film before a trip to lug around or pick up some along the way? I would definitely load up film before a trip. Gotta have your film ready. Can't risk like not having film and having to go look for it. That's horrible. Ever lose a roll with something gnarly on it? Yes, I did, and it's all Dennis McGrath's fault. I had a sick sequence of Gino Iannucci at Lockwood, and this is when you didn't see that many photos of Gino Iannucci. It's like, I mean, it's like in the middle 90s, 95 or something, and Dennis was processing a bunch of film. And when you process film, it's wrapped around a metal cylinder, and there are spaces in between the film. But sometimes when you're loading the cylinder thing, the film touches, and when it touches, it doesn't develop because it just ruins it. So he screwed up that film. I'm never gonna let him. I don't know, some like kickflip, shove it, backside 180 something. I don't know. Tension. How's Greco now versus 10 years ago? He's making films. He's still skating. I don't know. He's still doing the same stuff. Yeah, he's skating, making films. How do you feel about anyone who claims to be a photographer because they have the most recent iPhone and an editing app? Do you think there's real talent behind the phone screen, bettering the photography industry or worsening it? I think having a camera around you all the time is the best. It's really cool, and having an iPhone that can take good pictures, that's amazing. I think more people are getting better photos because they have phones. And I think that phones are no match for cameras, and there's like medium format digital cameras that are so amazing. So amazing. There's so many good cameras. And yes, they do look different than iPhones. I feel like everyone having an iPhone and everyone having access to a good camera just raises the bar for all photographers. So you have to be better. How different is a day shooting something like a Calvin Klein ads versus to skate ads? Which is easier or more rewarding? You know what? So like shooting some commercial project can be amazing and rewarding, or it can be really stressful and really not worth it. It really depends. But I feel like the best kind of scenario is that I photograph something that I like to photograph, and something that I will cherish the photograph after the shoot. I will still look at it and say, oh, I like that, I got something out of that. But I've had skate shoots where you're shooting with a skater that really is not into skating, really is not into shooting a photo, or they just won't feel like they need to because that's a part of the job that they need to take a photo or get a video clip to be, sponsored and stuff. But then you go out and you spend a lot of time like jumping fences and going around, and it's just like you don't get anything all day, and that's normal. It's normal to go out and shoot and not get anything. It sucks sometimes when you're photographing someone who's just not into it or having a bad day, but I guess that happens too. Well, I did a shoot a little while ago for a company, and I picked out a location that I thought was really cool, and it looked really cool when I looked at it. There wasn't many people in this diner at all, but when I went back to do the shoot, there was packed with people, and the person I was photographing, it just was different. The lighting was different. Things change all the time. I think on any time you go out and shoot photos or video. Okay, this one's from Suave. Did Eric J really backside 180 Wallenberg with no camera? I hope he did. That would be amazing. That would be super different. I don't know if he did or not, but that's a good story. Could you take Dave Carney in a fight? No, Dave Carney's amazing, and he'd probably beat me up anyway, and I wouldn't want to fight him anyway. Why does Julian act so shy in front of cameras, or he doesn't like cameras? I think same reason why anyone doesn't want their picture taken. I think when you're skating, I think sometimes it's nice not to have a camera pointed on you. And
you skate
you skate. It's like for skating. You're skating for skating and not to take a photo. I don't know. Some people, it's easy to be in front of a camera all the time, and some people it's like, well, why do that? So he's one of those, he just doesn't want to do that. So that's cool. What was it like traveling with Ethan Fowler? Was he inspirational to you, or as an older guy, was he just a whippersnapper? I think I'm like 5 years older than Ethan, and I want to say that Ethan Fowler is really inspirational. He's a really great skateboarder. When I first met him, he was super mature for his age. Crazy talented, like had a drum set, played drums perfectly, like skated amazing, really just held himself like he was just doing his thing and living his life. And yeah, he's super inspirational, great skater. What's your regular photography setup look like? Right now, I got this fucking this Leica SL, and this is my favorite camera right now. And I've been doing stills on films where you have to have a mirrorless camera to shut off the sound, and I just really love this sensor, and this camera is fucking dope. But I think it's nice to have like a prime lens is really nice to have just for compactness. But for jobs I like a short zoom, like a 24-90 or 24-70, and also like a 70-200, something like that. Those two lenses, you can cover everything. But for simplicity, just one prime lens is the best. What's it like dealing with Julian? Well, I like to have coffee with Julian. That's what it's like dealing with Julian. That's all. Favorite camera, current or no longer in production? I really like the Olympus Pen F. That was a really fun camera to have. It's a half frame camera. But I like that. That's no longer in production. You can get it. You can get them still, but I like that camera. I really like the Leica M6 because it has a light meter, and it's just a great, compact, amazing camera. And Polaroid cameras are so fun. I love Polaroid cameras too. 35mm is my favorite. What is your favorite country to photograph in? I like all countries, but I think it's all about the subject matter. What's in front of you makes the good photograph. Okay, from Cancelled, gnarliest Sean Young moment that I witnessed. I have to say I was doing an interview for Sean for Big Brother, and his idea was to have a ski mask on the whole time, and it was called The Unknown Asshole. So as the unknown asshole, I got on a bus with him, or actually maybe I got on the bus first, and then he waited the next bus stop up, and then he got on the bus with a ski mask, and I'm sitting in the front of the bus, and then he sat down next to a woman right here next to another passenger, and I'm photographing him because that's what we're doing. We're shooting for a magazine, and he creeped everyone out, like really freaked everyone out. So that was the gnarliest moment photographing Sean Young. I got pictures of him, she was just like, oh, what? Because you don't, like, why you gotta wear a ski mask? Sayota, what's your favorite graphic? My favorite ski graphic is Jason Adams' Think board. I really like this graphic because I remember this graphic coming out, and I skated this board. I have really fun time skating this board. I shot photos of him skating this board too. I don't know, I like it a lot. I also like this one. It's Jeff McFetrid's graphic from his brand Solitary Arts. I just like the tube coming out of here and going back in. And I also like one of my favorite artists, Chris Johansson, and this is the board he did for Antihero, Julian.
Rice and beans.
Rice and beans. Chris Reed. This board is for Alien Workshop. There's a series called Kill Trend Continuum, and this is Chris Reed's board and David Hasselhoff on the beach with his death metal dude. It's amazing. I did this board. I drew this board for Ethan, Actually, I drew it for myself, but he used it for a graphic. This is Board's Bolex camera. This is for Ethan Fowler too, for stereo. I like this one. It's really abstract. And this is a really cool project that's Chris Johansson and Joe Jackson. And it says, "Love is all." And this was a piece that was a fundraiser for his friend Arthur's kid that needed help with medical bills. So they made this board for a fundraiser. Pretty awesome. Cool. Inspirational. Okay, this one's from Tuna. How many cameras can you ollie? I think I would only ollie one camera because I'd be afraid to smash a camera. Are there any skate photographers now who you are inspired by or just plain fans of? I like Atiba. Atiba is my favorite skate photographer. Antihero is known for being a more raw, gnarly team, but can you specifically remember any tech ledge or manual tricks that someone on the early team did? I'm not sure. Tech ledge or manual tricks? I know that Bob Burnquist was doing all kinds of tech shit. He was kind of like their tech dude, but it was on vert. And some street skating too. I shot Bob Burnquist at Hubba Hideout. I think he did a 180 nose grind.
Oh yeah.
Something like that sequence. He also did lots of cool tech tricks. Oh, any skaters you wish you could have shot over the years? Yeah, one time I got a chance to shoot Jay Adams, and I was in Venice, and we're Mike Cassell, the owner of Bronze Age, set it up so I would shoot some photos of him, but he wasn't feeling it, and we talked about shooting another time when he came up to San Francisco, but it never happened. I wish that could have happened. Did you pay full price for those Leicas you have? If not, how do I become an ambassador for Leica? I don't know how to become an ambassador. I don't know. I met them through Mark Whiteley did an article, a blog post for the Leica blog on skate photographers that shoot with Leica, and that was the first to meet them. And then there was a show that was organized at the Leica store in LA where it's all skate photographers, and I was invited to be in that. I think Greg Hunt and Thomas Campbell and maybe Arto all curated it, and so I was fortunate to be in that show to meet those people. And I feel like a relationship with someone, it's just like getting sponsored for a skate company. It's just like it's meeting them and vibing and feel like if you can work together.
Right.
But I got a discount on like one camera, and I'm thankful for that discount. Favorite person to shoot skate photos of, and a specific photo of that person. I have a good memory of shooting photos of Chip Van Ham. No one's gonna know who he is, but I liked shooting photos of him. One day we went to Pacific Heights and we skated the fronts of people's houses, like really rich, like fancy mansions, and we did some 50-50s down their railing, just like these like hubbas outside of the house, I remember. And then we skated down Divisadero. So Divisadero going towards Lombard is really steep, and it's a really steep hill, and there was some banks going down the hill, and I shot some photos of him like olling into the hill. And we also went, he was just a really nice kid too, and he wore glasses, and we're also out skating, and maybe it was like Noe Valley or the Castro or something, and we found a gate in front of someone's house with like stairs, and it was just perfect, like really cool bright colors, good for like a color photograph. And he walked in there, and the people that walked into the people's front steps, and they came out, and he was like really nice, and he was like, "Hey, can I skate this? Can I take a photo?" And they were super nice, and we shot a photo, and got a good photo out of that. I think it ran in a magazine. Favorite portrait I ever shot? I have so many favorite portraits, but I'm gonna say a portrait of Dave Carney while he was in the middle of shaving his head, and he just shaved one stripe over his head, and Dave Carney has a really good sense of humor. So we were in our backyard because we were roommates, and he had his glasses or something, and I asked him if I could take his photo, and so he said yeah, and he just posed a really funny way with his glasses. So that's my favorite portrait. Thoughts of companies using skate photos to promote posts on their social media for free compared to paid print advertising? I don't know, man. My thoughts on photographers not getting paid for their photographs is that That's too bad. I think all photographers should get paid for their photographs. I think there should be a standard. For me, when I was first starting to photograph skateboarding, really it was like a haggle. You had to haggle with the skate company. The skate company wanted to pay you as small as possible. And what helped was being in contact with other photographers and getting to know what prices they charged people and different companies. Like once I found out that Dimitri was getting paid twice as much as I was getting paid. He was getting paid twice as much as I was getting paid for his ads for like World Industries and companies in Southern California. I began to like pressure the people I work for, like, hey, can you pay a little bit more? This is so, and you know, if the price just stays the same over years and years and years, and it's just, you know, it's nice to just talk to people. That's my thought. Thoughts on Templeton's approach to street photography. I like Templeton's approach to street photography. I like he's sneaky. He's with his M6 and his 50mm lens, and he's walking by people and just like, it's really cool to watch. It's street.
You seen him do it?
Yeah, street photography is an art form. I think it's really cool. If you were to go out today and shoot some skate photos with friends, what gear are you bringing with you? What's the camera you shoot with the most? I was shooting with the Leica M240 for all my skate photos, and then I realized it was so difficult. Like, why am I putting myself through this with shooting skate photos with a rangefinder? So I really like shooting skate photos with the Leica SL. But my favorite camera to shoot skate photos of all time is the Nikon FM2 and the Nikon F3. Those two are the best. Any favorite photographers? Not skate photographers. Yeah, favorite photographers. I really love Eugene Smith's photographs. He really took things to a whole new level. I don't know, I like reading about photographers too. I feel like that's half of it, and figuring out like what, I don't know, someone's story. I love biographies and like finding out about someone. Martha Cooper, check out Martha Cooper. I also like Joseph Kudelka. Joseph Kudelka is amazing. He lived in Czech Republic. He started photographing, I think he was an architect or something, or an engineer. And he, when Russia invaded the Czech Republic, he began photographing a lot, and his country was being invaded, so he got amazing photographs, and he continued to be a photographer. I think he's the best photographer ever.
So just naturally, that's how you...
Joseph Kudelka, yeah, he's amazing. I love his photographs. I hate Julio. Is there a location in the world that you were initially hesitant to visit, but after visiting said place, you found yourself loving it there? I was hesitant to go to Chicago. I have friends in Chicago, and I was going to go to Chicago, and I was going to go to Chicago to do a job at one point, and I did that, and I was hesitant to go there, and it was tough because it's a new city and new people. You got to meet people and make shit happen, and like, let's go shoot photos, let's go shoot skate photos. And sometimes it's really hard, you know, not knowing anyone and trying to, and not knowing spots, like being at the mercy of anyone that you hook up with. But I feel like it's always an adventure. So Chicago, I'd say I was hesitant to go there, and my friend's girlfriend, right before I went, said that she heard that people in Chicago, like, you might get jumped, and that they'll give you something called a curb sandwich. They put your jaw on a curb and like smash your head into a curb, like American History X, right? And I don't know why my friend's girlfriend told me that. I walked away from that thinking like, why would you say that? From Monkey McPot. How many times have you snuck in a good photo of Julian after he told you to stop shooting photos of him? There's so many questions about Julian. Everyone wants to know. I don't know. Maybe a few times. I don't know. I think you only use it if it's good anyway. When I go out and shoot with a skater, I always want them to like the photos. I won't send it into a magazine, if they don't like it. And if I do send something in a magazine they don't like, you kind of lose trust, and you gotta have trust. How gnarly was watching Gigi Allen live? Watching Gigi Allen live was pretty gnarly. Just I only went to one show, so I know that it was freaky when he pooped on the stage and threw his poop all over the place. Yeah, that was gnarly. That was different and weird. Yeah, I got a photo of him, Gigi Allen, and Andy Roy, and Julian too. Well, I got a couple of different photos. I got one of just Andy and Gigi, because Andy
that's the one for the board. Right?
Yeah, and then I got a photo of a group shot. Tell us about you and Cardale on the freeway and a CD in the trunk. It was a tape in the trunk. But yeah, I think this is my gnarliest or craziest photo of John Cardiel, and that we're just starting to hang out and shoot photos together, and I just picked him up in Auburn, or he was coming back with me to San Francisco from Auburn to go skate, and we had a Black Sabbath tape in the trunk of my like 82 Honda Prelude, so it's a 2-door, so the passenger seat is pretty close to the trunk. But and I learned later that he's done this. He's climbed out of moving cars onto the car on the freeway, onto the roof of the car, and then come into the passenger window before. So I didn't know that he knew how to do this, so it really freaked me out. But I'm driving the car, going on the freeway. He asked me to pop the trunk. So I popped the trunk. I'm like, what? Really? I thought you were joking. What? And he's climbing out of the window, and the trunk is open, and he somehow grabs the backpack, somehow puts it in his teeth, has the backpack in his teeth, and he comes back in the car. After that moment, I knew he was something different, something willing to take big chances. In the first scene of Fucktards, the one bum is chasing the other bum with a piece of bread, ? Yeah, one guy was chasing another guy across the street with a loaf of bread, like a baguette. And I was driving with Mickey, who was a police officer at the time. He pulled them over because they were fighting. One guy's beating up another guy, so he's breaking it up. And they knew each other, and they're probably had something to do with drugs or something, I don't know. But the guy that was getting beat up or getting harassed or abused was complaining, and then I think Mickey just says, okay, I'm giving you a chance to get out of here. And the person that was the aggressor was like, why? He said, for hitting him with a piece of bread. Now get out of here. Get out of here. It's kind of funny, kind of silly. All right, can you talk about some of the band Antihero ads that never ran? My favorite, I've only remember one band Antihero ad, and it was an excerpt from the Unabomber. It opened it up. The words that you first read were, "In order to get my message across, I've had to kill people." And that was the words on the top. And then there was images of people that had died. One was John Lennon, has a check next to him. One was Ronald Reagan, check next to him. One was, I think it was Princess Diana, check. And then the next one was Jerry Garcia, or maybe it was Jerry Garcia. I don't know the order that people had already died, other causes, whatever. I think maybe Ronald Reagan was next, or Jerry Garcia was next. 3 out of 4 had already died. The 4th was yet to be. It was I just love it. It's just such a good ad. Yeah, imagine the people that own the company or ran Thrasher magazine just didn't feel like dealing with all the parents. Okay, Street Soup, talk about a time where I was hated on for looking like or being a skater. I was on tour in Europe and traveled all around Europe and barely took a shower and was headed back through Paris. And the night before, we had me, Jeff Pang, Joey Trichet, Skip Pernier, Rick Arbaceta, and Mike Archimedes had all slept in the park at the Eiffel Tower, and were woken up by police officers with machine guns like, get out of here. I had taken the train to the airport by myself, and I had smelled really bad, and I just made it on the flight. Almost didn't make it, and I know that the people around me were just super bummed that I hadn't taken a shower in a long time. So they hated on me. They were not into that. I want to talk about something. This is a Pixel Vision camera, and it records on audio cassette tapes. The cassette tape would just go in here, and it creates a black and white image in the center of the screen. And this is the camera I used for. There was one part of Fucktards where we went into a Pixel Vision clip with some girls talking and a needle in an arm, blood coming out of an arm, and I think driving a car, listening to music. Yeah, and then there was another clip of John Cardale doing a some acrobatics like at the top of my hill, like down the hill, and we're listening to the Beastie Boys.
So use that.
And use that, yeah. I got this from a skater in San Francisco. His name was Mon.
I'm more into dressing him up.
And his fucking girlfriend would get off my back and I socked her, dude. I was too drunk. And then this dude tried to beat me up for punching a girl. So what are you doing? Fucking roughing me up on his terminal. Fuck, dude. How much blood do you think you could lose before you pass out? How much? Not enough.